Carly, and I'm back again with another review. So we are working our way through the Disney Plus Marvel Legends series, and yesterday we took a look at our Scarlet Witch. So naturally, today we're going to take a look at WandaVision. Now, I explained yesterday all of the reasons that I really loved WandaVision, even though there might have been a lot of people who had issues and questions about it. I loved the series. I thought it was really great. And this character was one of the highlights of the entire series for me. I think that introducing WandaVision, who in my research I discovered was not introduced via the cinematic universe, but actually appeared in the West Coast Avengers. And the storyline was very similar. So Vision was disassembled and reassembled by Sword in the cinematic universe, and it was a different group. I forget the name of the group in the comic book, but in a series called Vision Quest, he's reassembled, he returns, and that is sort of the beginning of the end of his marriage to Wanda, because he isn't himself anymore, which is basically what happened in the Disney Plus series. But the reason I loved the introduction of this character so much, and if you haven't seen the series, please forgive the spoilers, it's been a long time, so I'm just going to talk about it now. He was brought in by Sword to shut Wanda down, basically, to do whatever it took to get her to release the people that she was holding hostage, and so that they could get her under control again. So they send him in to do this, and he encounters her version of Vision. And I thought that these two characters coming face to face was the most beautiful way that they could have possibly sort of addressed Vision's actual humanity, that he was more than just a machine. And even this new and improved version of Vision could see that once they shared memories. It was just, I think, a phenomenally executed scene. And that's why, for me, having this action figure is a really special part of my collection, because I don't think that that story could have been told better, and I don't think those elements of the character could have been drawn better than by having the two Visions face to face, her perfect vision of Vision and the actual reprogrammed, rebuilt Vision. And it only took his observation of the experiences that Vision shared with him to sort of realize the humanity that he had developed in his other life with her. It was really just beautifully done. I definitely recommend watching those scenes with WandaVision and Wanda's Vision again, because chef's kiss. They were so good. But anyway, that is why I am so excited to have this figure. As I said, I have a version of Vision already. It was sort of the, like the translucent plastic version. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I know that they were trying to make him look mechanical, but I really would prefer to have the 2-pack version of him with Wanda. And I found one. We'll see if I pull the trigger on it. It's pretty overpriced, but having this one and having my other Vision side by side will at least be meaningful to me until I figure out how I'm going to fill in the gaps of my collection. So the figure itself is, again, really beautifully sculpted. I think that you can actually tell, now with a flat monochrome figure like this, getting the sculpt right is not only really critical to understanding who the character is, to being able to tell who we're supposed to be looking at here, but also, you know, when, especially with white monochrome, you're towing such a fine line between just looking like a template, like a prototype, or like nothing at all. And I think that Hasbro really nailed the facial sculpt here. You can actually tell that it's Paul Bettany. It looks really beautiful, particularly in the profile, which I hope this is picking up really well. It's the chin and the nose for me. It really captures his essence. And we have the beautiful texturing on the costume, just like we had on Wanda. There is a slight contrast with this ivory tone that they use on his wrist guards, on his belt, and down on his shin guards. And other than just the blue on his forehead, everything else is pure white. So they really had to hone in on the details of this costume, the sculpt of the character, and get everything absolutely perfect, or it would literally just look like a prototype blank. And I think that they completely nailed it. It actually looks like who it's meant to look like. I'm a little bit turned off by this clear plastic cape. They did something similar with the green one that I have, and I just don't like it. It looks dingy really easily. You can sort of see like every fingerprint, every piece of dust, and there's something sort of like gum wrappery about it. It just, I don't think it looks quality. So it is like pegged into his back like this. It's the only part of this figure that I don't love, but that's a very small detail. I really love everything else about it. Again, the texturing of the costume is really, really great. The sculpt on the body is great. And this is another really smooth, highly articulate figure. So everything works exactly the way that you would expect it to work. We don't have anything obstructing the movement in his legs and thighs. So we can get great lateral lift on both the arms and the legs with this. Elbows, wrists, work perfectly. He does come with an additional set of hands. So here are his fist hands. I know with the all white it's a little difficult to pick up on camera, but there's nothing remarkable about the hands. The head has a great range of motion, obviously 360 the way that we're used to seeing, and he has a really good sort of like looking down, which I think is really appropriate for particular poses you might do with him. And looking up is a little bit more awkward, but not bad at all. He has a great ab crunch that looks really good, forward and back. And the turning waist, which is great. He's got the thigh turn here and knees that bend beautifully. He does not have a boot turn, which you guys know. However anybody feels about it, you know I don't personally like those. And then we have really great flexibility in the foot, like we always do. So it is a really good looking, highly articulate figure. And again, I cannot stress enough how well they managed to capture the look of Paul Bettany as Vision in this sculpt. And on an all white medium, I just imagine this was incredibly challenging to achieve, but all of the texture is there, all of the, you know, just artistry in the sculpt and the costume and the face of this character is captured perfectly. And side by side with my Wanda, he's gonna look absolutely amazing. Again, if you guys have not watched WandaVision recently, go back and check out these scenes. I'm picking up the West Coast Avengers to sort of read this story arc. While they say that in the research that I did, that the change when they rebuilt Vision in that part of the comic books, that it sort of like had a year-long impact on the story arc of the West Coast Avengers, there really is sort of a finite period of time where it's him and his relationship with Wanda after he returns. And I really want to read that closely to see how it parallels with what we got to see in the WandaVision series. So if you guys are familiar with that storyline, please let me know what you think about how it was recreated in the series and what you guys think overall of this Vision action figure. I give it really high marks. I think it's really outstanding, and I think it's quite an accomplishment to be able to capture the essence of a character on an all-white medium as perfectly as they did. It literally couldn't be anybody else but Paul Bettany as Vision, and to do that in white on white is a really impressive feat that I think they did really well. So thank you guys again for tuning in to watch my video. We will continue doing reviews every day until we get to our cap bath. Let me know who you would like to see next. I will be putting a poll up on my community channel here on YouTube, and I will also put it to Instagram. So if you're interested in deciding what video I do tomorrow night, please make sure you vote, and I will do whatever everybody wants to see. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow night with another one. Bye, friends.